talk about the importance of not forcing doors to open. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, on that forcing doors, here's how I put it. I believe that there's a rhythm in life. There's a rhythm in life. Everybody's on a rhythm, everybody's in a flow, a flow. And when you are in the right flow, doors automatically open. It's like going to the mall. You've been to the mall and you get to the automatic doors, right? The moment you step to the door, it automatically open. You don't have to push it, you don't have to jar it, you don't have to pull it. You just have to show up. And I think when you show up in being authentically yourself, being real, I have a movement called Finally Me for Real. And it's taking women through a journey through the book of Esther. Now, you're familiar with the book of Esther because Esther is the queen, but she's not the first queen. She's the second queen, right? Because before Esther, there's Vashti. But then Esther shows up and the door just opened. And I think the reason why the door opened for Esther is because Esther was authentically herself. And I think when you are authentically yourself, you don't have to pry, you don't have to force or push doors open. And I always tell this story. That's how really I met Bishop Jakes. It was at First Baptist Church of Glenarden. Bishop Jakes came and preached at First Baptist Church of Glenarden, your church. And he had a little gathering after the revival, New Year's revival, and it's always at this particular house. And let me tell you something, sis. Preachers will fly all over from everywhere in the country. Not really for the revival, but they want the invitation to the after party, to the
Yeah.
after fellowship. And it may be about maybe there was only about 30 people who were invited. And I remember that day I'm in the service and Bishop Jakes is preaching, and there's this lady who carries the invitation. Like if she's carrying $1 million, right? She's carrying the invitation and she's handing it to people and she's handing it to people. And so between me was Ambassador Susan Johnson Cook, Bishop Timothy Clark. And so the lady comes down our aisle and she gives Susan Johnson Cook an invitation. She gives Bishop Timothy Clark an invitation. And I'm in the middle and she doesn't give me any invitation. And I remember my son, he's in the audience and he's texting me and he's like, "Mom, did you get an invitation?" And I said, "No." He said, "Man, Mom, those people are going to get to meet with Bishop Jakes." And was I feeling down about it? Of course I was feeling down. Everybody on my row had gotten that envelope to go meet with Bishop Jakes except me. And
Mm.
I'm getting service is over. I'm leaving. And Pastor Jenkins, he's like on the stage and he has his phone and he's waving it at me, waving his phone at me. He's like, "Look at your phone, look at your." So I'm like, "Okay, let me see what Pastor Jenkins wants." And I
Right.
look at my phone and it was this address to this house. He said, "Can you come to this house?" I said, "Sure." So got in the car with my son, drove over to the house. And would you know, the door that was open was the place that the other 30 people had gotten an invitation. And here's the crazy thing, sis. I don't know where they were in the parking lot, but I got there be, before the other 30 people got there. And so Bishop Jakes is sitting here and I'm the second guest. So they sat me right here, and I didn't have an invitation.
Mm.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you, that's why when you show up and be authentically yourself, you don't have to force doors. You don't have to manipulate your way. You don't have to beg nobody. Because this is what I say, when it's your time and your turn, nothing can stop you.
I love it. I love it. I don't think I've heard that story before. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, yeah, that is just, that story always reminds me that God has me in mind. She didn't give me an invitation, but I'm telling you, Pastor Jenkins was waving, and I look, he said, "Get to this address." And we got there, and that door opened. And from that door being open, the door to preach at the Potter's house, the door to preach at Woman That Loose, the door to preach at Mega Fest, The door to preach everywhere on TBN, the door to preach at the Word Network, the door to preach in so many countries. Just that door. And I will tell everybody, just be authentically you.
Mm.